Okay, so today we'll see two more applications of division algorithm. Okay, the first application being the remainder theorem. Remainder theorem. So this you all have been doing since your school time, but you haven't done the proof. So today we'll do the proof of remainder theorem. So what does the remainder theorem says? If a polynomial fx is divided by a linear polynomial, that means is divided by x minus alpha. When a polynomial fx is divided by x minus alpha, the remainder is f of alpha. So firstly, this remainder theorem is true. This remainder theorem is true for linear divisors. When I am dividing by a quadratic polynomial or any other polynomial, then remainder theorem does not guarantee that remainder will be given by this. Okay, so when I have any polynomial and when I am dividing it by a linear polynomial x minus alpha, then the remainder is given by f of alpha. So without getting into the laborious process of finding the remainder, like not going into the dividing process, long term division method, we can simply find the remainder by computing this quantity. So here's the proof. Okay, so I have to divide fx by this. So let's apply the division algorithm. The division algorithm will tell us that there will exist some quotient polynomial and a remainder polynomial satisfying the relation. So let qx be the quotient and rx be the remainder, and rx be the remainder when fx is divided by x minus alpha. So I'm assuming that there will exist some quotient polynomial qx and the remainder polynomial rx when fx is divided by x minus alpha. So this is guaranteed by the division algorithm that these two will definitely exist. Right? Now, in the last class what I did, since the divisor x minus alpha is a polynomial of degree 1. So what about the remainder? What can I say about the remainder? In the last class I gave you something, the last point. If the divisor is a polynomial of degree 1, what can I say about the remainder? No. Very good. So, as I said you in the last class, you see here, I had said you that this point, the last point, if if degree of gx equals to 1, then rx is either 0 or degree of rx will be 0. That means in any case, rx is going to be a constant. It will be a real number. It will not depend upon x. Okay, so that's what I am doing here. So since the divisor, this is a polynomial of degree 1, so remainder will be a constant. So the remainder rx is a constant, right? And say that constant as r, say r. So what I have done, I am dividing fx by x minus alpha. Suppose that the quotient is qx and the remainder is rx. This too is guaranteed by the division algorithm. Now because this is the divisor is of degree 1, I know the remainder is going to be a constant, right? So what I have, therefore, what will the division algorithm tell you? That fx can be expressed as divisor times quotient plus remainder. Remainder here is r, or number. Clear up to here?
Yes, sir.
Now remember that my aim is to find r in simple words, right? Because I have to prove that the remainder is this. So I have to determine this r. Now to determine r, I have to make this term 0. How can I make this term 0? By putting x equals to alpha. Because this is going to be true for every value of x. I can choose any value of x, right? So putting x equals to alpha, we get, so what will I get? Here I'll get f of alpha. Here I'll get alpha minus alpha times q of alpha plus r. That is, this is, you see, this is 0. So 0 into q of alpha is going to be 0. So therefore, r is going to be f of alpha. And that is our proof. You see, r is going to be f of alpha. Am I clear? So this guarantees that the remainder is f of alpha. So this completes the proof of remainder theorem. So why is this remainder theorem important? So whenever I have a linear divisor and I want to find the remainder, then I don't have to go for the long term division process, but the remainder will simply be given by f of alpha, right? That means in a polynomial you put the value alpha down, right? Like the 0 of this. Okay. This is not required. Yeah. You know the definition of a zero of a polynomial. That means the root of a polynomial. They are giving a definition here. That what is the definition? I'll tell you. Yeah. So definition is this: if fx is a polynomial, and after putting a value alpha to x, I am getting 0. If fx is a polynomial and f of alpha equals to 0, then alpha is said to be a 0 of the polynomial fx. That means the roots, so root of the polynomial equation. So when fx equals to 0, when fx is a polynomial and after putting some value alpha to the polynomial, if I am getting 0, then alpha is said to be a 0 of the polynomial. Okay. Because it makes the polynomial 0 in simple words. So this is all about the remainder theorem and this definition. Now another important theorem is something called as the factor theorem. Another important theorem being the factor theorem. So this also you have heard of it. I'm 100% sure. So you have done it previously.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So could you please show the definition again?
Okay, sure. Just a minute. So another important theorem is the factor theorem. So what is the factor theorem? It is another application of division algorithm. So factor theorem is stated like this: if fx is a polynomial, if fx is a polynomial, if fx is a polynomial, then x minus alpha is a factor of fx, is a factor of fx if and only if and only if f of alpha equals to 0. So again, the factor theorem gives you a necessary and sufficient condition for the linear polynomials to be a factor of some another polynomial. Like if I give you any polynomial and if I am dividing this fx by this linear polynomial, okay, so I want to know whether this is a factor of this or not a factor of this. You know what is the factor when the remainder is 0. So the factor theorem tells you that if and only if f of alpha will be a 0, that is if and only if alpha is a 0 of fx, right? If and only if alpha is a 0 of fx. So the proof again is very simple. So I'll first assume that this is a factor and I'll prove this, and next I'll assume that this happens and I'll prove that this is a factor. Okay, so the first part, let me assume this. Let x minus alpha be a factor of fx. My aim is to prove that f alpha equals to 0. Okay, f alpha equals to 0. Now you remember that because I am assuming that this is a factor of fx, so remainder is 0. That means you see this. So then fx can be expressed as for some quotient, right? There will be no remainder at all. For some polynomial qx. Do you agree with me with this point that fx, because this is the factor of this, remainder will be 0. That was the definition of a factor, if you remember. So fx can be written as this times some quotient, but there will be no remainder at all because this is a factor of this, right? Therefore, you just put alpha here. F of alpha equals to what? This will become alpha minus alpha into q alpha. Alpha minus alpha into q alpha. This is nothing but 0 because alpha minus alpha is 0. And hence the proof. The proofs are very straightforward. Okay, just you have to use your logic, but they are direct, very direct. So we have to go for the converse part. So for the converse part, I'll assume that f alpha equals to 0. So conversely, suppose f alpha equals to 0. So conversely, we suppose that f alpha is going to be 0. Okay. Now you see, what is my aim? My aim is to prove that this is a factor of this. When can I say that this is a factor of this? When the remainder will be 0. So what is my aim to prove? When this divides this, the remainder should be equal to 0. So that is my aim, to show that the remainder is 0. So how will I start? I am assuming that I definitely know that the remainder is going to be a constant because this is a linear polynomial. So let R be the remainder. Let R be the remainder. R be the remainder and Qx be the quotient. And Qx be the quotient fx is divided by x minus alpha. Okay, so therefore what can I say? Fx can be written as x minus alpha times quotient plus remainder. So what is my aim? My aim is to show that r will be equal to 0. If r is equal to 0, then I can say that fx, x minus alpha is the factor of fx. Am I clear up to here? Why I started like this? I'm assuming that f alpha equals to 0. Suppose that r is the remainder and qx is the quotient when fx is divided by this. Why I am assuming r? Because I know this is a linear polynomial. The remainder is going to be a number. Right? I'll prove that this number is equal to 0. If you have any doubt up to here, feel free to ask. Yeah. So this happens. Now it's very simple. I'll use this condition. I'll make use of this condition. So put alpha. So this implies f of alpha equals to alpha minus alpha times q of alpha plus r. Now what is f of alpha? It is 0. So in place of f of alpha I am putting here 0. This is 0 and this is r. What I am getting, the value of r equals to 0, and this will imply so fx can be written as x minus alpha times qx, because r is 0, so fx can be written like this, and showing that x minus alpha is a factor of fx. This completes the proof of the this one, the factor. So let's do some applications of this two, remainder and factor theorem, and keep in mind that these two are only true for linear polynomial. When I am dividing by a linear polynomial, then only they are true. Otherwise, these two theorems will not hold in general for any other polynomial. So, suppose I have a question. The question is, find the remainder when x cubed plus 7x square minus 2x plus 3 is divided by x plus 1. So you have two methods. One is the long term division, otherwise the remainder theorem. So we are definitely going to use the remainder theorem. So by the when x cube, let me give it some name. Okay, so let fx equals to this polynomial. I'm giving this polynomial a name. Suppose that the name of the polynomial is fx. So when fx is divided by x plus 1, the remainder will be what? Who can tell me what will be the remainder? By the remainder theorem?
f of minus 1.
Very good. F of minus 1. This is guaranteed by the remainder theorem. This is guaranteed by the remainder theorem. So this is, what is f of minus 1? Just you put minus 1 in place of x. So minus 1 square minus 2 into minus 1 plus 3. Just evaluate this. Some calculations to do. Minus 1 plus 7 plus 2 plus 3. 11, no? So the remainder is 11. And when this polynomial is divided by x plus 1, the remainder is going to be 11. So here I have the next question. The question to being this: find the remainder. Find the remainder when 4x to the power 5 plus 3x cube plus 6x square plus 5. 4x to the power 5 plus 3x cube plus 6x square plus 5 is divided by what is the divisor given to us? 2x plus 1. So this is also a linear polynomial, don't forget that. So if you proceed in the same way, so how? The solution, let me give this a name. Let fx equals to 4x to the power 5 plus 3x cube plus 6x square plus 5 when fx is divided by 2x plus 1, remainder will be given by, what will be the remainder? F of
minus half.
very good. So this alpha will be nothing but by equating this to 0. So when I equate this to 0, what will be my value of x? Minus half. So you have to find f of minus half. This I am not going to do. You complete it and tell me what is your f of minus half. So you should definitely get a 6. Just to check, I'll wait. So here I have another question, number 3. Find the remainder when x to the power 5 minus 3x to the power 4 plus 4x square plus x plus 4 is divided by x plus 1 into x minus 2. Now remember here that you cannot use the remainder theorem because the divisor is not a linear polynomial anymore. It is actually a quadratic polynomial. So you have to find the remainder when this is divided by this. So one way is you just multiply this and use the long term division method to find the remainder. Otherwise, what we can do, I know that when this is divided by this, the division algorithm guarantees that there will be some quotient and remainder. What will be the degree of the remainder? Can you tell me? When this is divided by this, what will be the degree of the remainder?
0 or 1.
Very
Or
good.
maybe the value is 0.
Yeah. So either the remainder is 0 or the degree will be 0 or 1, right? Because the degree of the divisor is 2. So in general, my remainder will be of the form ax plus b. You see, in general, my remainder will be of the form ax plus b. Why? It is a polynomial of degree 1, so that's all right. The highest degree possible is 1. Otherwise, if a is 0, if I consider if a is 0, then that will just become a constant. That will just become a constant. So that satisfies the degree. Degree is 0. Otherwise, when a and b both are 0, the remainder will be eventually 0. So in general, my remainder will be of the form ax plus b. Do you get my point or no? If you are not clear, I will explain. See, the quotient is a polynomial of degree 2. The quotient is a polynomial of degree 2. So by the division algorithm, the remainder is either 0 or the degree of the remainder is going to be 0 or 1. It will not exceed the degree of the quotient. It will not exceed the degree of the quotient. So when degree of Rx is 1, I may assume that the remainder is Ax plus b, because any polynomial of degree 1 will look like this. Now, this also satisfies that the degree of Rx is 0. When can I say that the degree of Rx is 0? When the value of A becomes 0. So when the value of A becomes 0, the remainder is going to be just the constant, and this is also done. And even if A and B both are 0, then Rx becomes eventually 0. So this is also been satisfied. So in general, my remainder is going to be of the form Ax plus b. Did you get it?
Understood, sir.
Yeah. So I'll simply do it. So let me give this a name. Let f of x equals to x to the power 5 minus 3x to the power 4 plus 4x square plus x plus 4. I'm calling this as some polynomial fx. Yeah. So then fx can be written as the divisor times quotient plus remainder. What is the remainder? Ax plus b. Ax plus b is my remainder. I'll write it where qx is the quotient and Ax plus b is the remainder. So there is a logic behind it why I am assuming this as the remainder. Okay, that you should not try, but you can directly write it here. And why I am doing it like this. Now your task is to find the values of A and B, because they have asked you to find the remainder, and that means you have to find the values of A and B. So let me write this equation again here clearly, that what I have, fx equals to x plus 1 times x minus 2 times quotient plus Ax plus b. I have this in my hand. Now what I'll do, I don't know anything about the question. So what I'll do, I will try to make this term 0. How can I make this term 0? By putting x equals to minus 1 or putting x equals to 2. I'll do that one by one. So I'll first put x equals to minus 1. So try to understand my point. When I'm putting x equals to minus 1, so this term is going to be 0, because this will become minus 1 plus 1, minus 1 plus 1, so this will become 0. This eventually whole thing will become 0. So this is going to be 0, and here I am putting minus 1. So minus a plus b. I have this, right? And that would imply minus a plus b equals to f of minus 1. You can find f of minus 1 from here. Put x equals to minus 1 here to get f of minus 1. And f of minus 1, you should get something like 3. You should get 3. You may just check. So this is my sum equation 1. Similarly, you put the value 2, because there are two variables. You should have two equations to solve them uniquely. So f of 2 equals to, when I am putting x equals to 2 here, so this is becoming 2 minus 2, this is 0. So eventually this is becoming 0. So I am remaining with here a into 2 plus b, that is 2a plus b. But f of 2 you check, just to check, okay, what is f of 2? You just compute f of 2 by yourself. You should get 6. You should get 6. So 2a plus b equals to 6. And now solve this equation simultaneously to get the unique solution. Solve it and tell me, and just check the values of f of minus 1 and value of f of 2. So Therefore, on solving 1 and 2, I'll get a equals to 1 and b equals to 4. Thus, I can also talk about my remainder. So, what is my remainder? So, remainder was ax plus b. That means 1 into x plus b. b is 4. So, this is my answer. When that is divided by this polynomial, so the remainder is going to be the polynomial x plus 4. So, this is one way of doing. Another way is definitely the long term division method. Okay, you know how to divide a polynomial by another polynomial, and you can use that. Okay, but because we are seeing the proper use of division algorithm, so I did it this way. I'll give you 2 more minutes time. Just complete the sum who have not completed yet. So the next thing that comes to our mind, we have got a very easy way of finding the remainder when I'm dividing by a linear polynomial. Whenever I'm dividing by x minus alpha, I know I don't have to go for some laborious process. I know the remainder will be given by f of alpha. So we have a very easy method of finding the remainder when I have a linear polynomial. Now we might think, is there any easy way to find the quotient for the same? That means when I have a linear polynomial and with that linear polynomial I am dividing another polynomial of any degree, and is there any shortcut method or a simple method to find the quotient also? Remainder we know by the remainder theorem, but is there any shortcut method to find the quotient? The answer is yes, and that is known as using the synthetic division. Synthetic division. So what exactly is the synthetic division? It will tell you a way how to find the quotient when you are dividing by a linear polynomial. Again, you remember, synthetic division only holds for the linear polynomials. That means when you are dividing by a linear polynomial, when you are dividing by polynomials of the form x minus alpha, then only the synthetic division will hold. Otherwise, it will not hold. So remember why we are doing synthetic division. The synthetic division will give you a very simple way of finding the quotient directly. Like without going into that long-term division method in that detail, we have a shortcut method to find the quotient when I am dividing by the polynomial of the form x minus alpha. So I will not start with the synthetic division today. I will discuss the synthetic division in the next class, because if I start today, I will not be able to complete that. Okay, so I'll teach you the synthetic division in the next class in very much detail. Thank you. That's all for today.